going to take a center seat, given our circumstances, so that I can project both sides. Yesterday was an amazing day, and we were so privileged to join. Would you tell the audience what was the significance of yesterday? You can't hear. Okay.
Let me try.
Yes.
So yesterday was a launching of initiative national work by joint efforts made by industries and India. This initiative is actually designed to make sure ecosystem building are never prevented by single industry, especially government institutions, are not collaborating enough. It's very hard for an idea to try to match the commitment of both ministers, consultation, brief sessions. I'm sorry.
You are saved.
So I think now you can hear me, yeah? Yeah. So I try to repeat briefly what I have said before. So yesterday's initiative is called actually NEST, Next Ethiopian Startup. This initiative had been through lots of discussion among the two ministries and the Entrepreneurship Development Institute. And the two ministries were actually conducting a series of sessions, and it was led by a serious direction from both ministries, and we tried to come up with this initiative. Actually, the initiative was initiated due to the lack of ecosystem spirits among institutions. So the initiative actually plans to bring together all institutions, all ecosystem players within the ecosystem to actually align with the goals of building a startup ecosystem. So after lots of repeated efforts, we came up with this NEST to actually consolidate all startup activities going on in our country and all resources to come together to actually reach to the startups in terms of resources, in terms of spaces, infrastructure, in terms of regulatory framework. So we need to actually bring all this into a picture where all ecosystem players in the country sees it, and all global actors can actually see one voice of the ecosystem. So that was the most important tone of the initiative. That was why we launched this initiative. The initiative is called, once again, Next Ethiopian Startup, a departure that actually demonstrates something unique should happen if we have to change the course of entrepreneurship in this country. So that was the spirit in even the title of the initiative, if you can see. So it's an amazing initiative. It is symbolized by nest, in fact, the bird's nest, to actually make sure this initiative actually creates a comfortable space for startups to hatch, grow, and fly. That was the most important element that we want to convey with this initiative. Thank you.
I love that. The Next Ethiopian Startup Initiative and the nest and the symbolism behind it is truly inspiring. Rebel, if I could ask you, you have some slides prepared, and we are under time pressure, but the work that was produced and presented yesterday was excellent. And for Africans and for our global partners here to have a brief snapshot of what Ethiopia is aspiring to and actively working towards, would you mind if you took us through some of those?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yesterday was a great day for Ethiopia, especially for the Ethiopian startup ecosystem, because it shapes all the efforts that we've been doing in Ethiopia, and it actually shows us where Ethiopia is going in the future. And the PowerPoints. All right, thank you very much. So I'm going to start with the word itself, NEST. Why do we call it NEST, right? NEST means, the abbreviation is a next Ethiopian startup. So this is to show the futuristic efforts that Ethiopian is into, especially when it comes to innovation, creativity, and the whole ecosystem development. And NEST by itself is the symbol for the bird's nest, right? The nurturing nature of the bird's nest, that the ecosystem that needs the nurturing, the startups and the users will have creative ideas. So this NEST program will have strategic thematic areas that would align with the nation's goal. It will have a nationwide equal opportunity, will give an equal opportunity to the youth who have creativity and innovative ideas. It will also contribute to the digital Ethiopia, and will also have a support for the users and gives an end-to-end support that has a creative, innovative ideas. It also promotes research and development in innovation. As well as will engage private sectors in the development of the ecosystem. Where should I point? I think it will have four main pillars going forward. These are the national engagement frameworks, the national change agents, national support platform, and national innovation competition. So national engagement framework, what we mean by that is an integrated information system that actually have an access, every actors within the ecosystem will have an access to. And we will also create an engagement framework for the actors who are the partners and developmental partners, government, all the institutional works that have been done within the ecosystem to have an integrated efforts. The second one will be the national support platform. These are networking platforms, exhibitions. This can be platforms that are learning platforms where actors and startups can have get together and work together. And the third one is the national change agents. These are individuals that has an influential power within the ecosystem to actually guide and create an innovative mindset through the ecosystem. These are individuals with different backgrounds, different experience in different sector, and providing mentorship, providing being an ambassador in the ecosystem. And the fourth pillar is the national innovation competition. This has multiple types of competitions, innovation competitions, actors competition, could be investors competitions, hackathons, and of course it also will involve different type of supports within the competition, like trainings, co-working spaces, networkings, seed grants, and everything. And we're gonna put this into together into a one pillar and try to integrate, try to bring integration efforts between organizers of a competition. So going forward, this initiative will have 3 layers of working group. The first one will be the policy and strategy. Second one will be sub-working groups of different 4 of the pillars that we're gonna work on, and we will put each pillars will be led by different actors. For example, in the first pillar can be governments, associations, academias, startups, hubs. These are different institutions coming together, bringing different initiatives, their own initiatives, to align and collaborate with others, also co-creating initiatives together. And the third one will be monitoring and evaluation. We also have a side working group for the support working group. So going forward, I think yesterday was the launch of the initiative. Going forward, we're going to have a series of co-working sessions with different actors. We're going to have an aligned work streams for 5-10 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Backwards. There we go. Right. I would like to talk now to the UNDP, the United Nations Development Programme. Wudasi, and forgive me for calling you by your name, and I've done the same this side, and I've done it very intentionally, and I'm calling out to all our founders. The next 2 to 3 days, we will be so tolerant of one another's cultures, and we'll be so understanding of any faux pas or nuances or things we say that don't 100% align, but we'll have one goal, which is to form relationships and to get to know each other and make friends. So with Dasi, we made friends last night, and it was incredible to hear about the UNDP's support to the government here in Ethiopia. I would love to know from you, how did this come about? What was the process? And what are some of the key learnings you could share with other nations?
Sure, thank you. So UNDP has been working with the Ministry of Labor and Skills. I hope you can hear me. With the Ministry of Labor and Skills and the Ministry of Innovation and Technology since 2019. So getting to yesterday was definitely a long road. And we are working to build the innovation and entrepreneurial capacity within Ethiopia for economic development. So when we talk about innovation, we see it as a means to an end, which is for job creation, for increasing the productivity of the private sector, and ultimately for an inclusive economic transformation alongside with the agenda of the government. So for us, under that framework of cooperation with the two institutions, one of the things that we focused on was creating a coordination platform. So not only for intergovernmental coordination, but for the government to work with the private sector very closely, to work with individuals, to work with the academic sector as well, because academia is a very key player in innovation as well. So we wanted to create that coordination platform. And so through the donation of the Korean government as well, we have a project in which we work under. And that has allowed us to set sort of the groundwork for what became NEST yesterday. And the initial step that we took was, okay, how can we learn from other nations that are doing very well in the innovation sector? And so as a team, between the two organizations, as well as EDI, we had organized a trip to Israel to sort of tour the startup nation and what is Israel as a country doing. This tour actually also included startups, so it wasn't just governments, but it was also governments and startups together. They went and they were able to see what is the responsibility, but also what's the role of government in creating such an ecosystem. How can we together create an ecosystem that is conducive for the startups and understand that need? And I think that was the key starting point to say, okay, we know what we need to do, and then how do we come together and create this sort of framework that we saw yesterday. So this was more than a year-long process that went through a lot of iterations, that had a lot of support from different organizations as well. So it was definitely a huge milestone. And for UNDP, there was no question in us in supporting this initiative, because when we can't, at this point, we can't talk about economic growth not just in Ethiopia, but in Africa, without talking about innovation and entrepreneurial capabilities. So even though this is a work that we do here in Ethiopia, UNDP Africa also has a huge initiative called the Timbuktu Initiative, which is looking to create 8 startup hubs across 8 different cities in Africa, which have sectoral expertise. So each country will have a sector-specific approach where African startups from no matter where can go and be part of the incubation programs. This is also an investment program that is looking to raise $1 billion over 10 years for investment directly for startups. So this is a huge initiative that we have taken on as UNDP, not just in Ethiopia, but also as Africa. And so I encourage everyone to explore that program and see how they can take advantage of that, so that we're not only looking at the innovation ecosystem within one country. I think this was brought up yesterday as well, but how do we connect across countries? How do we leverage our markets and our free trade opportunities within the continent as well?
Thank you very much. You're a very brave woman, do you know that? To tell... I think it's extraordinary to find women working on significant projects like this, and you're also additionally brave because you've just told a whole room of startup founders that you have a lot of money coming your way. So I think someone's going to be very popular during the tea break. Bora, we haven't met. We've just become friends now on stage.
Nice to meet you.
It's wonderful to meet you. They always say innovation comes first and regulation comes after, and that's just the way the world has always worked. And it's so inspiring to see visionary leadership like this in Ethiopia, where startups can pave the way forward and the government is collaborating to support them and to develop a program alongside that. I read an article the other day. I'm sure many of you must know the journalist Abraham Augustine. He's a writer, and he wrote this article about Ethiopia is the miracle waiting to be unlocked, and that the timing is so right. And it was about youth. And we see throughout the world now that governments are inheriting systems that are completely archaic and need to be fundamentally transformed and to skill up the youth. I've heard you work with youth. I would love to know what your advice is for the youth and what you're doing, and specifically to the Ethiopian youth. What is your advice to them in terms of seizing this digital opportunity and future?
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, I'm personally very happy man today because I'm asked this question as well. It's because Ethiopia is hosting Global Startup Awards Summit. Not only that, we have launched one of its kind, one of its first initiative, homegrown initiative, Next Ethiopian Startup Initiative, which was championed by our visionary leaders in the ministries. I want to thank the leadership we have at the ministry, both ministries, Ministry of Innovation Technology and Ministry of Labor and Skills, because it is started when we were in a capacity building program that Ethiopian startup ecosystem, entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem needs a champion. Without championship and leadership, a country's ecosystem cannot get anywhere. So today I'm seeing that championship is seen on the stage. And our youth, Ethiopia youth, should take a huge advantage of this changing, regulatory and leadership change in the government, because we used to say that because I'm from an entrepreneurship support organization, we interact with entrepreneurs all day, and they ask us hosts of questions, the challenges they face, and mostly the challenge faced from the environment in which they operate. And they usually say that it is difficult to start and even close business in this ecosystem. And recently, we are witnessing that there is a tremendous change in the gesture of policymakers. Leaders and champions are emerging. Now we are seeing it face to face that youth are observing the change which is happening in Ethiopia. Everybody is talking about entrepreneurship now. Few years ago, few people talks about entrepreneurship and the role that it has in creating economic dynamism in this country. Today, from the top leadership of the country, the Prime Minister himself, to the ministries, the leaders of entrepreneurship and SME support organizations, entrepreneurship has become now the catchphrase, become the buzzword, and this is huge milestone for Ethiopia, professionally speaking. That is where we should start. For all the ecosystem, it's all about starting. It starts somewhere. If we work on that ecosystem, it's about taking,
First step.
yeah, the first step
Absolutely.
and take it to the next level. So for our youth, it's not only the opportunity for the youth that want to use change in ecosystem. We have now seen that some regulatory barriers are now getting improved. Some the registration process during the licensing process, the problem the youth have been facing is now getting improved. But there is a long way to go, of course. But this is a very good start. Our youth should take this opportunity and then go and start and be courageous and then start something. But for this to happen, still we need a very strong institutional framework that could create the place where startups will really know where to go, like when they have the idea and when to build their business ideas. So the institution like Entrepreneurship Development Institute and the other institutions and the accelerators, incubators, learning institutions are now talking about entrepreneurship, and hosting entrepreneurship within the institution is a huge opportunity. Our youth should go and grab this opportunity and move forward.
I love that. The youth should grab this opportunity. And they always say, start how you intend to finish. And if this is how we're starting, I think the finish is going to be amazing. On that note, we have been instructed to finish. I would like to thank you all for your time and for your courageousness and your hospitality. And to the audience, we're going to take a 20-minute networking break. Please be sure to come back promptly, and we will see you after the break. Thank you.